All right, good afternoon. I'm Ruben Ray, the carpenter, and I just wanted to talk to you real quick. Another one came to my mind. I was thinking about mastering your trade and basically becoming the master of your trade. And on my signs, I have my name. I have Ruben Ray, the carpenter, and then underneath that, I have master of my trade. And I got a lot of I got a lot of different comments on why I shouldn't say that. And so I had thought this through before I actually put up the sign and or made the sign and then put it up. And so I was listening to Eric Thomas, and I thank Eric Thomas very much for all his motivational speaking. I thank him very much for seeing that there was a possibility for him to do what he's doing today. And I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for all the mentors I've ever had. I'm grateful for a lot of my mentors. I'm grateful for my uncles. I'm grateful for my dad. I'm grateful, for my grandfather. And but there was a lot missing in there that I needed to learn. And but let me go back to master of my trade. And I need everybody to understand that you're a master of your trade. And so I'm going to prove it to you. Okay? So let me ask you this question. When you go to Home Depot or Lowe's, or you go to any other warehouse store, do you walk up to the door and say, hey, would you like me to put you here? Or would you like me to put you here? The question is already answered. It's no. So you're the one that puts the door where the door belongs. You're the one that puts the window where it belongs. Now, as an apprentice, that is something that I had to learn. I had to learn, okay, this is a stud, this is a king stud, this is a trimmer, this is the seal, this is the header. And so I had to learn all that stuff. And so as an apprentice, I'm an apprentice. You're an apprentice. So the moment that you master what a stud is, you already know what a stud is. You already know where it goes. You already know if it's a bearing wall. Some people call it load bearing, meaning there's a load on top of it and it's holding it. Or if it's just an interior wall, it's a non-bearing load wall. So and then you have different. You have 16 on center. You got 2 foot on center. For other projects, it's 12 on center and 18 on center. And there's different marks on your measuring tape. If you look at them, there's a reason why they're there. And so you start to learn what those requirements are. Even as, let's say, as an inspector, when an inspector goes to inspect a deck or whatnot, and they'll give you a layout, like if you use a 2x4, if you use 2x4 for this deck on certain areas, then you can spread it out this far, or it can be this far, or whatnot, so forth and so on. But the moment that you have learned that, and the moment that you keep applying it, and the more times that you apply it and keep applying it and keep applying it, well, guess what? You have just mastered that part of the trade. And so I had to learn how to master the door. I had to learn how to master the window. I had to learn how to master putting up baseboard, quarter round. And so this is what I'm saying to you, is that you can become the master of your trade. You can become the master of doing something great. So, all it takes is for you to get up and to start doing it. So if you're a type of person that's into computers, if you're a type of person that's into, you want to be a doctor, you want to be a nurse, you want to be, I don't know, a cheerleader. If you want to be anything that is requiring a skill set, you can master that skill set. And so, a lot of people, again, I'm going to go back to my sign. I've had a lot of people say, well, what are you talking about? We mess up or we miss something sometimes. Well, the great thing about a master is if he messes up, he knows how to go back. He knows how to look at it and fix it right. And sometimes we're not perfect. We are not perfect. But the thing is, we've mastered our trade. And the moment that we stop going back and fixing something is the moment that we're truly not a master anymore. We're not a master. You might as well go back and be an apprentice. So, and go back to apprenticeship school. So and we learn how to use the speed square. There's different ways you could use the speed square. You can also use the chalk box. And let's say if I was building like trusses, and I'm like, okay, how do I figure this out? I got to use the Pythagorean theorem for this. I got to do this. I got to do that. There's ways that you can do it even quicker. You can make yourself a template of a truss that's already there. And then what you do is you just go ahead and transfer the angles from the truss, like where the angle meets up at the peak. You can get that angle. You can use a T-bevel. You can use your speed square. And if you know what a 412, 512, 612, 1012, if you know all that information, then that you should be able to learn how to read your speed square and use that to your advantage. And so everything in life, everything that we have all around us, even whatever it is, you have to learn how to master your trade. You have to learn the ins and the outs. And an apprenticeship is the greatest place to start. And I've had I've worked with a lot of hard people. All my family, they're yellers. So we like to yell, and because we have so many things going on in our mind at one time, we want to make sure everything is running smoothly. And so I learned with a lot of yelling, and another thing that I learned about the yelling, one, it's not that great of an idea, and it's better to be able to communicate what you're trying to teach somebody. And the reason why I strongly believe this is so when you walk away, they have a good understanding of what's going on. And and if somebody doesn't understand, in my personal opinion, what I've learned is if somebody doesn't get it right the first time, I have to realize that person doesn't have enough experience and he still needs to stay as an apprentice. And so I wholeheartedly believe anybody can master their trade. If you're a salesperson, you can you can master talking to people. You can master the art of persuasion or showing somebody, hey, this is what you need it for. You know, uh, or whatever it is that a salesperson does. Let's just put it that way. I know this about a salesperson though. They have to go off the law of average. So the more people you talk to, the better results you get. So once you master that, then you become a better salesperson. And even in carpentry and what I do, like when I first made my portfolio, I was listening to a video from Eric Thomas, and he said, "You know what?" He goes, "We don't have business cards. We don't have this. We don't have that. We don't have this. We started everything out of a garage." So I started thinking, I was like, you know what? He's right. Here I am. I have 25 years of experience. My grandfather was a carpenter. My dad was a carpenter. I'm a carpenter now, and I have all these uncles that are different trades, and and I watched them. I watched them talk to people. I watched them show people the work that they did. Some of the times, my uncles would even say, my dad would even say, you know what? Just give me one chance. Just give me one opportunity to show you and prove to you what I can do. And if you don't like what I do, then you don't have to pay me. And so that's what I started doing. I just said, you know what? Eric Thomas is right. I have all this information already. I just haven't realized it. So what I started going to doing, I made me a portfolio of all the little jobs that I did. And I said, okay, everything I'm doing is cosmetic. Basically, I'm a glorified handyman. It is what I am. So, and I'm very good at what I do. And so I went to people and I said, hey, look, this is what I do. Hey, look, this was inspected right here. An inspector passed this deck, passed this underpinning for trailers, or passed this for siding on a house, or kind of think of something a little bit different. Oh, the patio. they passed this, and I know how to follow code and I know about codes. And so I was able to build a business rapport with with the people in my community that own properties. And so the number one thing I don't do is I don't burn anybody. And if if somebody has, I've only had one person that I was unable to go back and fix the job. I was unable to do it. So I went on ahead and I paid him all his money back, and I even paid him his money back for 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 the job that I did. And it was a little job. It was just a small job. But yet I would rather, in my opinion, the way I see it, I would rather pay that small price than somebody going around saying, "Hey, you know what? This guy didn't honor his word." So I even learned to master that. I even learned to master my ego. I've learned to master. Uh, I learned to master selfishness, greed, and it is not easy at this time, this day and age. It's not easy. But my point is that you guys can master your trade, and you guys can do it, and you guys can, push yourself a little bit further than you've ever pushed yourself before. And so, like Jim Rohn says, there's a lot of people I listen to, and I'm very appreciative of them. I thank God for them and to give us this information. But Jim Rohn says, you always want to do more than what you're actually paid for. And if I could go just an extra mile, maybe if it's an extra hour of work, every now and then, I'll do it. And but I'm not looking at it like, oh, dude, I gotta get paid for that extra hour right there. I'm looking at the fact of what I'm becoming, what I'm learning, the experience that I'm getting out of it, and also the customers looking at me and saying, you know what, man, this guy went the extra mile. You're gonna get some people that appreciate that, and then you're gonna get some people that don't appreciate that. You're gonna get some people that just don't care. They just want the job done. And so I've experienced different experiences in my trade, but as I went along, I started to learn. I've mastered my trade. If a door frame is broken, guess what? I'm changing out I build a whole new door frame because I know exactly what one by I need to go by. I know exactly what door stop I need. I know if I need a new threshold, I know to go buy a new threshold. Um, so there's a lot of things that I know how to do that I mastered just on the door on how to make it work properly and function and seal properly. So become the master of your trade, man. Don't be scared. Just go for it. Whatever it is, whatever it may be. Basketball player, football player, ballerina dancing, whatever it is. You can do it. Keep pushing forward. Just dedicate yourself to being committed to doing something that you really want to do, or you see the vision to do it. So I just want to say, have a blessed day. Thank you very much for your time. My name is Ruben Ray, the carpenter. Master your trade.